Sailor Moon that started in 1991. It's got about 200 episodes. Each episode is quite short, 20 minutes. And I should stop talking because that's what was the plan about this episode. I'm just gonna shut up because I don't know anything about this.
So Sailor Moon actually started out as a comic book first in Japan, written by an artist and author named, I'm gonna go last name first, Takeuchi Naoko. And she's written other things, but this is the only one that was really, really popular with people. And basically, if you watch it or read it from the beginning, it just seems like, some girl, she gets a mysterious item from some talking animal and she can transform into basically like a superhero. But later you learn in the story that she's like a reincarnation of herself. So that's why she's transforming. She's turning back into her old self. So it's basically like someone living a new life and trying to, I don't know, be happier in this new life and create a better future. That's actually the big story, but usually people don't see it.
That sounds very deep.
It is
not
deep.
At all what I saw.
If you read all of it, not watch all of it, the show's different, but if you read it, you get this deep story. But anyway, I like the anime because it's just kind of fun. It's girl versus monster, and usually you don't get girl versus monster anymore. If you get girl versus monster, it's like a weird hentai, or it's like a bunch of guns or something. But this one's just like, it's like Power Rangers, but like all girls. So I just enjoyed it as a kid because it was nice to see, something positive with, like, oh, okay, a girl can do something and, she was strong and she had lots of friends and she always saved the day.
Okay.
So it was comforting as a kid.
Yeah. I think it became really famous because of the costumes.
Yeah, it shows in Japan, around Tokyo, the school uniform is known to be kind of famous and honoring Marine forces, like military. So they have like the sailor uniform, and she actually had a sailor inspired suit as her costume, and her hairstyles was famous. I think.
Before I start spewing nonsense, anything the people who know what they're talking about want to say? Like, I mean, in general, what do you think about this show?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Of course.
I don't know. Like, I didn't ever watch like Sailor Moon because it's not my style of, like, not my cup of tea regarding anime. But I've watched a few episodes that you recommended, and I quite enjoyed it. Like, it has nice humor. It's kind of lighthearted, so it like doesn't force you to think about it so much. So it's like you can just turn off and have fun with it. But like it was a bit too childish for me, I would say. And as you were saying, like, now it looks more interesting. Like when you see the overall story and like having a deeper meaning, but from the few episodes I watched, I didn't really enjoy like this childish theme that these girls like have. Like, they are too optimistic. Everything is like everything is basically solved by the power of love. Yeah, and it's just
the point.
It's kind of wholesome.
I guess that's the point, but it's just weird. Sorry.
Anything you have to add, Adame?
Well, I've seen the first episode and the episode John recommended. I haven't seen it before, simply because it wasn't aired here and not really my cup of tea. But I have to say the opening was great. I really like the opening.
I think that's very, very famous, the opening scene. And the opening theme song.
Yeah.
Yeah, the theme song is great.
And the transformation animation is very well done.
Yeah. As Martin said, it's a bit childish, and the pace at which it tells the story it's so freaking fast.
Yeah.
I like that.
I don't know, maybe as a kid I wouldn't mind, but damn, it felt very fast. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, but not something I would watch today.
So what did you think of Sailor Moon?
Very girly stuff. If I would be 15 years old girl, I would like that, but I'm not. So it was pretty normal. Quite normal. No, I was not surprised.
Okay, I'm very surprised by you not being surprised. I was very surprised.
I mean, it's normal in terms of girlish animes that have action.
Okay.
It was okay. It was fine. And there was some idea like the father was overprotective to his daughter, so his overprotectiveness of her caused more trouble. That was good.
Hey,
That
you can
might-
learn something.
Yeah, that might have been the best
Yeah.
quote anybody had in this podcast. That's like the best comment we had on this show. So somebody actually watched it and thought about
Yeah.
it. That hasn't happened yet.
Good. Yeah, I like it. Like I said, as a kid, it was just like something nice to like grow up with. So I still have like a love for it. But yeah, the anime is very different from like the original comic, and the original comic doesn't have that light-hearted kind of sense. Like they purposely made it like try to be funnier and those things, like how they overdo the characters, like how the main character is always crying and loud and always happy and all this other stuff. She doesn't do that so much like in the comic book. She's actually a little bit sad all of the time, which is actually like you wouldn't want your character to always be a little sad. So they changed that, and the whole comic is a little bit dark. It even has like a really dark ending to it. So like they changed it to be more like a nice positive story for young girls versus like a more realistic one. So actually I enjoy the manga much more. But I have a special place in my heart for the anime.
Yeah, that sounds nice. So, for me, right off the bat, all the characters look fucking the same. I can't tell who's who. And then I asked Chen, and the girls have the same fucking face. It's the copy. It's the same character. How am I supposed to know who's who if it's the same exact face?
No, their hair, their clothes, right?
Very different hair.
That's what Chen said. So you basically have to tell who's who only by hair.
Yeah.
So if
I get basically color coded.
they color coded and hair coded. So that's one thing. And second thing is that if you watch animation, there is two types of characters. One is like on model and one is off model. So what it means is that like Disney animation, typically traditional animation, they would have a model and they try to stick to it. So if you like they had like a 3D model and they turned it and they drew it so it would fit the character. The character wouldn't change shape. But in Japanese anime, very, very often, if you look from far away, it's a different shape. Or if you have like an over-exaggerated motion, face, expression, they change the model itself, the character itself completely changes shape and the face changes shape. And this happens so much in this show, and the faces scare me.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to add. Like the number of weird faces in the episode I watched was
That's
getting
exactly my
close to like
notes.
60 per minute. Like
Exactly
that,
my notes.
That's why I like it, because I thought it's just like it made me laugh.
The faces are insanely extreme.
I guess I'm used to it. I didn't notice.
This is one of the things that bugs me about anime so much, because sometimes I'm like into it and it's kind of serious or some kind of emotion, and this face always ruins it for me, because I'm like into the scene and then this face shows up over the whole screen. It completely changes the character's face expression and just exaggerate. It just kills me. I especially hate the crying animation, how they have the lines a bit under their eyes, like this, like a river of like tears. I hate that.
no, how else would you draw a character crying, man? Like,
Just normal tears, goddammit.
it's normal.
It's expensive
Some
though.
like the animation, some stuff never have it like at all. Like we watch Wolf Children, there's not a single
but
face.
this show especially does it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like-
agree.
Like I dropped a coin, and instantly tears like streaming everywhere, like explosion.
But that's what's fun as a kid. So I like
It is fun. I feel like I cannot be bored watching this. Like, to accomplish is that. So what we like to do is to quickly discuss one episode of each of these shows. So each of us who chose the show also chose an episode, and we all watched before we recording this. So the episode we watched was number 20. It was called The Summer, the Beach, Youth and Ghosts.
Hooray, ghosts!
And I have a sound clip that Adam will have with me for because I'm gonna play it on the phone. Let me try it.
Temme! Ah, yeah.
Could you hear that?
Just barely.
So this is when they go to a haunted house or like a scary castle.
No, it's not a haunted house. It was a hotel.
It's not
Okay,
even a
never mind.
haunted house.
Never mind.
It's just a mansion, you know.
This
And
is gonna be a recurring theme with me. I basically never know what happens. So they went to a regular hotel.
I mean, like it was like a what we would call an Airbnb now. Like it was the mansion, but it was a hotel.
And the characters opened and they had the best welcome. So I'm going to try to sum up the story, how I understood it. So they go on holiday to the beach. They get into this scary house with these weird characters, and then a bunch of shit goes down, which I couldn't comprehend. Somebody gets possessed, then they fight it with makeup, and somehow it ends well. And
sounds about right. Yeah.
I have one more clip from this show. Let's listen and let's tell me what you think it is.
Fuck. Don't.
Sounds like weird transformation, like battle cry or something
Yeah,
like
you got it. So this is when they transform into their superpower costumed like characters
So this one's Sailor Moon transforms.
with the power of makeup.
that. Yeah.
And the character is screaming Mercury power, which means
No, it's this moon prism power.
oh really?
Yeah. She has a prism. Her brooch is a prism. She's moon prism of power.
Oh, never mind.
I hear that. I hear also Mercury power. I don't know.
She says, "Man, prism of power." And she says makeup because I told you she's a reincarnation of herself. So they put on their makeup, but their makeup is they turn into their
so
old
it's like
selves.
a superhero that transforms into a super costume by applying makeup, and super costumes with a sailor uniform. It's
So maybe I can explain it better. In the comic book, they explain it more. And since you all would never watch it or read it, it doesn't matter if I spoil it. So basically, every planet and every celestial body in the whole universe has like its own soul. And these sailor soldiers are the souls of those planets and celestial bodies, and that's how they get their power. And they're supposed to protect their own planet and their own things. And so a long time ago, they were killed in a battle. And one of them, like the mother of the main character, sacrificed herself into this big, like the place where everything in the universe is made and goes back to. She said, "I'll stay here if you give them their life back." So she sacrificed themselves, and they are reborn as humans. And the only way that they can, you know, get their power is that they transform into their old selves, but they can't stay that way. So that's it's nonsense how they transform, but that's what they're doing. They're just turning back into their old selves before they died. So they actually are supposed to look very different. That's why, you know, when people see them, they're not like, "Oh, that's Usagi, I know who that is." Like we can see what they look like, but other people can't tell what they look like. They look different. So, yeah.
thank you. Wish you could my face now.
So now it makes sense why they are called after planets and like the
Yeah.
moons. Yeah. 'Cause I had really no idea like why and how do they have these like automated like clothing replacement powers or whatever in the first place. So now I understand a little bit more. Thank you.
I just didn't dare to ask why.
But even the monsters and things, like in the story, actually every single monster, everything that they fight, they all come from the same force. And it's basically every light that was born, not everything can be light. Something is like darkness. So there's this one being that's like called Sailor, I forgot, Sailor Chaos or something. And they couldn't be born a star. So she was very jealous, and so she wanted to destroy all the other stars. So that's what the whole story for 200 episodes or 20 comics they're leading up to, is this being that wants to get rid of all the stars because it can't be a star. That's what it is.
All right.
So,
All right.
well,
Alrighty then.
That actually sounded really interesting.
Yeah. Okay, I am withholding any comments. So, if you wanted to describe this show in 5 words or less, what would you say?
who, me?
Everybody. So,
Yeah, I want to hear it.
so I would say, makeup papa.
Hey, that's 5 words? Or less?
No, yeah, or
no,
less.
I get it. Or less, okay. well, I think I already said it. It's like a bunch of schoolgirls transforming in 5
that
words.
works.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
It's like Pokemon with transforming girls.
Okay.
No, they're not catching anything, but it's the same style of show, basically.
So it's more like Digimon. It's like they're, empowering themselves and then turning back again, right? I'm so sorry.
I don't know how to describe it in 5 words. Let's say,
You can say
I don't know.
a show that's close to my heart.
The moon is a schoolgirl.
I like that one. The moon is a that word.
That's okay.
Good word.
That's too many words, right?
That's like schoolgirls. One word. It's okay.
If you get a few more, it's okay. I just meant like a short. I meant to say once.
Actually, I like that one. That's what I'm gonna go with. The moon is a schoolgirl.
Well, that's good. Schoolgirl power.
Schoolgirl.
I like how you say it. Schoolgirl power.
Yeah.
So one last note: we watched another episode with Chan that consisted of a demon possessing a tennis racket and then having a demon fight at the tennis court with a possessed tennis racket shooting lasers, and a guy jumped out of it and was very handsome, and they fell in love with him, and then I don't. I was.
The way he explains it makes no sense.
This is how
I'm not gonna try to fix
this
it.
is what I saw. So this is what happens in this show.
That's very original.
I'm lost for words. Like this is.
So that's my take. So I like that episode.
Okay. Definitely sounds bizarre enough so that like I would enjoy it, probably.